I need my damn coffee. I haven't had coffee at work in a while just because it's been, 100 damn degrees every day. For me, it's not like that. Look at this giant war zone. Come here. I need a maid. Cook. Do it. What are you waiting for? Might have to get rid of the series. Alright, so we're done with our little list here. Well, except for this. We have to paint the underside of the rock. Basically, we have to paint the area that the rocker boxes cover on the floor pan. Can't leave that raw metal. And the best thing to use is epoxy primer. So this here is 2-part epoxy primer in a spray can. The hardener, I don't know if it's actually in this little capsule here, but this pops off of here and then sticks on the bottom, and you press it until it pops. And basically it does the 2-part epoxy inside. You shake up the can, make sure it's mixed real well, and then you only have a couple of days to use it, I think. But since it's only one can, I'm sure it'll be enough to do the areas where the rocker boxes are going to cover. So I'm going to get underneath, and I'm going to do a little sanding and cleaning, fixing any metal we have to fix, and then we'll mask off the areas we're going to be welding on, and then we'll 2-part epoxy all the metal underneath that will be covered by the rocker box. Are there any good paint strippers left? This took 2 days with a certain product that I'm not going to badmouth. Probably 4 separate applications, barely cut through any of the paint. This little spot here went all the way down to metal after 1 coat. And this is that. So after 1 application and covering it with plastic, it did a really good job, honestly. I'm pretty stoked. There's some little spots here where it was a little thin. Honestly, that was my fault for applying it a little thin. Everywhere it was put on thick, it came out great. I recommend it. It works. All right, so we got this thing up in the air. I mean, I'm 6'4". The camera is at my eye level. So yeah, this thing's kind of tall. And we only did this so I could weld on the rocker boxes underneath the truck. It is still connected to the rotisserie on the front and the back, but that's really just for safety. All of the weight is on the jack stands. That doesn't look sketchy at all, does it? That's kind of why I left the rotisseries attached. So, would you climb under this thing? I'll do it. I trust my rotisseries. And since the weight's on the springs, we still have a good gaps on the doors. Roger? Roger. So we're gonna get in here real quick. We're gonna fix these. That one, this one, this one, and that one there. I'm gonna fix all of those. We are going to clean and prep the metal underneath, paint that up, and then get ready to weld on the rocker boxes. So while we are completing the prep work on the Blazer body to accept these rocker boxes, I'm going to do a little bit of work on the rocker boxes. So these things, this part here gets welded to the truck. Here, this edge here, and that far edge there. All this is just exposed underneath. And you will never be able to see those areas again. So while they are currently coated in a weld through primer, I want to do something that's going to be a bit longer lasting. We're going to wipe them down with some wax and grease remover. This one's almost empty. I got a new one over there. We're going to use some epoxy primer on these areas. We're going to mask off the areas that get welded. We're going to put some epoxy primer, and then after that dries, we're going to put some Extreme Chassis Black on there. Yeah, you're not going to see this. However, you know, if water gets in here and stays, I want it to be able to go through the drain holes and not create rust issues in the future. I just want to protect it. And I'm going to do the same underneath the Blazer, where in the areas that these rocker boxes cover up. So let's just take care of it. Let's just wipe them down, get them prepped up, ready to spray. All right, so before you get these things welded up underneath the truck, or even try to get them welded under the truck, you have to make sure that it's going to fit, and it fits flush. You don't want to try to be bending metal to meet where you're welding. You want all that stuff to fit good as it's going together. So these here, these rocker boxes are really thick metal. I don't know if you can tell. Actually, you know what? Here. Whip out my welding Miller gauge here. So we're just over 14 gauge. Not quite 8. Probably around 14 though. Can you see that 14 gauge? That's where that is. So this is pretty thick metal. It's not going to move. It's not bending. You don't want to bend this. So underneath the body tub, this rib here, or this structural brace, is where the rocker box welds to. And this one was super messed up. This is not connected. These should be welded together. Now, this one is also not connected at all. And to tell you the truth, I don't think it was ever welded from the factory. I don't see any spot welds or anything. The other side has 3 spot welds on each of those tabs, and they are connected. So, but something else I noticed is that these were bent. These were bent down this way, which didn't allow the rocker box to attach to this in a flush manner. It was really off. It would have been impossible, or not impossible, but you would have done a really bad job trying to weld to that. I created this template. After we get this welded up, we'll use them on the truck to make sure that the rib brace under the tub is the same shape as these, so the rocker box can mount up there easily and be welded to the truck properly. And I wore the wrong shoes to be welding today for sure. These things are going to burn my feet. Ooh. Just tacks. Just tack it. Just tack weld. Little tack welds. Tacky tack tack. Hey, while I'm working on this Blazer here, I realized it's been 2 weeks since I got that email from Scott's Hot Rods. Let me read the email to you again. Hi, Steve. Your order is on the cusp of going into the manufacturing queue for frame rail processing and mandrel bending. Usually at this point it will be 3 weeks before staging and a couple of weeks before it is on the table being welded together. 1 to 2 days in assembly. Our frame rail processor will get in touch with you to firm up the chassis configuration in 2 weeks. That email was August 25th. Today is September 8th. It's been 2 weeks. It is 3:17 p.m. on a Friday here on in Reno, Nevada. And it's Scott's Hot Rods. Look it up where they're at. Tennessee has 2 time zones, Central and Eastern. Scott's. So let's make sure we're on the right one. Hot Rods. They are in Knoxville, Tennessee. Knoxville. Oops. Spelled it wrong. Tennessee. 2 N's. Time. Current time in Knoxville, Tennessee is 6:18. So they are 3 hours ahead. 6:18 p.m. It's past their open time of business. So it's been 2 weeks and I didn't get a call from Scott's Hot Rods. Am I surprised? No. That's kind of the expectation they've set. They don't call people back when they're supposed to. They don't contact people when they're supposed to. No time frames actually matter to those guys. Now, I'm not saying they don't work hard. I'm not saying anything else. I'm just saying what they do. Actually, I am saying something. They don't set expectations very well. Coming from the industry I came from, I spent 35 years in the construction industry building homes in Southern California. I worked for the largest developer in the nation, which at the time I worked there was Lennar Homes. Worked there for 16 years as an area manager, as a construction manager, as a, I also did, what the heck was the name of that job? I was a division environmental manager for the San Diego office for like 4 or 5 years. One thing that they always preach to us is set the expectation with your customer. That way you'll always have return customers. You'll always, not always, but I mean, you're trying to do the right thing. The other people that are spending a lot of money have time frames themselves. They have jobs, they have families, they have things they have to do. It's proper for you to set a proper time frame. Even if it's not right on the nose, get as close as you can. 40-week lead time for a build. Okay, I understand that. Here's a lot of money since you have to pay for half of it up front. It's been over a year. It's been 54, 55 weeks. I was told I would get a call in 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. I don't know about their product. It's obviously good, but would I recommend them? Am I going to use them again? I don't think so, bud. I'm not happy. I'm really, really not happy. But I get kind of upset over average things anyway, so. What am I going to do? Nothing I can do. Sit here and take it, I suppose. Next chassis I get, I'm probably going to go with Roadster Shop. Just to see if their customer service or their expectations are set any better than Scott's Hot Rods. Pretty pathetic in my opinion. Pretty piss poor customer service. Because they're full of themselves, more than likely. They probably know that they have a very good product and people will just wait. And that's absolutely no reason to treat other people like their opinions don't matter. They sure want my money. And at this point, I'm gonna end up giving them to them. But I tell you what, I'm not stoked. And I tell you what, if I get that thing here and there's shit that I don't like on it, I tell you what, I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna show everybody how good or bad it is. Because that's just the kind of guy I am. I don't want you guys to get something bad. I'm not gonna recommend something that's crap. They're not putting money in my pocket. And if they were, I'd have to make sure that they're doing a good product. I really don't want to. I don't want to give props to anything that doesn't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to keep working on this Blazer here so I can make a nice video for you guys. No matter what, I have to get this, kind of wrapped up and out of the way, because whenever that chassis does get here, and we said it was going to be 6 weeks from 2 weeks ago, so that means maybe a month, but as these guys just don't seem to live up to anything that they say. I'm not saying it's even going to be here next month. So I was going to buy a new project. I'm not going to probably do that, because to tell you the truth, I have projects. I have this Blazer. I got an OSB truck, OSB. I have an old Ford truck outside. I got those 2 motorcycles and a Model T, and the Model T I probably should put together. Anyway, let's keep working on this thing. Okay, so these are the floor braces I was telling you that weren't attached. I got these clamps holding them in place, so I'm going to run a weld here and a weld here to hold those back in place. This little bracket here was also folded up this way. I've actually bent it straight, and it has a crack in it right here. So I'm going to go ahead and weld that as well before I get to finishing prepping this area. It's part of the prep, part of the fixing. I don't know why that's broken. It was weird how it was bent for sure. All right, so we are welded up underneath. We need to, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint and prime the areas we need to cover up, because after it's covered up with the rocker box, we will not be able to paint it again. So let's remove a couple things. Remove that clamp. Remove that clamp. I don't think we need that on there anymore. At least not right now. Which way does that need to go? Okie dokie. Both of these were bent on both sides. I fixed this one. This one wasn't ripped. The other side was torn. It's all welded up. I'm going to mask off this. I'm going to mask off the areas I'm going to put weld through on. I'll spray the rest with epoxy primer. And then I will go ahead and remove the masking and spray it with the weld through primer. And now I just have to wait for that to dry so I can pull the masking tape off, and then we'll get ready to weld those things up under there. All right, so we got these all painted up. I'll show you the other one. Ow, ow, ow. That one's all nice and black as well. I got the underside of the truck painted up. Look at that, beautiful. I can't see the other side from here. Anyway, so we're gonna get these mounted up here. I gotta figure out a way to hang these because I can't hold it and hang it. There is a bolt on the back side right there. I could probably hang this on that front lip, which goes right here where that tape is. And then this actually bolts up to the back of the vehicle. Well, not the back of the vehicle, but back under the pan here. It bolts up like right, where does it bolt up? I think it bolts up to one of these over here. So the rocker boxes are bolted in. Actually, it's just bolted in the back. I got a clamp just kind of holding it to the side over here. Up front, it's hanging on to the body right there. and right there. These things took forever to get in. It's the end of the day. Literally took me all day to get these things in. They are a very, very snug fit. I mean, they're supposed to support the body from flexing where the door openings are when the roof's off. So I'm not surprised that they were really hard to get in. I had to make sure that the body's sitting on the axles, which I don't have. So it's sitting on sawhorses. The rotisserie is still connected, but it's loose. Because, if those fail, I don't want that thing falling on top of me if I'm underneath. So we got the rotisserie on in the front and in the back, just for safety. And the gaps on the doors look great. Exactly where it needs to be. Okay, so we are going to weld the front of these in today. I'm not going to do under the rockers because I have some metal to straighten on both sides. I might even replace the rocker on the passenger side. So we're just going to weld the front end, the back's bolted in, and we should be good to go. Alright, we're tacked in there good now. That ain't moving. That ain't going anywhere. This needs to be bent up a little and overlap this, so I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, so we got that thing tacked in there. It's not going anywhere at all. That was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. It's nice to get something almost finished though, having a sense of accomplishment to get that done and know that the truck's going to be a lot stronger than it was. So I'm real happy that I got that far. I still got a lot more welding on those to do. I have to weld to the rockers. I also have to weld to the supports on the bottom of the cab. Now it's just resting there. It can't really go anywhere. Like I said, the way it's overlapped, it's hooked on the front and it goes along the bottom and it bolts up and back. So it's definitely not going anywhere. And that'll allow me to make sure all the other surfaces are good to go, make sure they're real nice and tight, and then we can get all that welding done in there, which will be nice. All right, so that's going to do it for today's video. Please hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one. Right, dog? Right, Amy? All she wants is for you to throw the ball. Say goodbye.